by the way, in the armored infantry, or in the armored. And I looked over him, I said, "What do we do?" He says, "I guess we fell asleep," he said. So he said, "Well, we better advance, see if we can find him, catch up to him." So when I started up, then the whole column behind me started up and went along quite a way, I don't know how long. We saw where it looked like all the vehicles had crossed the ditch. And that was a spring then, so things were wet. You could see the ruts of tanks. So we stopped and looked. Well, we better try it, go across the field then. How far we went, I don't remember, but it was muddy and kind of hit blacktop again. But then you could see that they went like this, followed the tracks through the direction. Drove for a while there. They come to a crossroads, but both of them blacktop, so we couldn't see which way the vehicles had gone. We waited a little bit. All of a sudden we heard a rumble from the left. And we got a little closer and we could see the little cat eyes, because that's all we were going by. And then I was really scared. That's a German column coming up there. We got up and they got close. We thought them seeing us, I guess. And then we saw the insignia on the doors, and they turned then and went straight ahead. We followed in behind them. Not a word was ever said. I think they would have court-martialed us both. Yet, sometimes we'd go 5 or 10 miles, sometimes more than that. They'd have a place picked out where we would settle for at least till morning. And sometimes we would stay there for 2 or 3 days before the infantry and the rest of them caught up to us. No, yeah, they would shell us quite a bit at times, so we were always exposed to that. And we'd cut any lines that we saw, because most of the information was passed through lines in those days. Didn't have the modern radios that we have today. Disrupt them, and they would then try to figure out what's going on. Is everybody up that far, or it was just, they didn't know, really. It wasn't anybody close by so you could pinpoint them, but they were over there. We knew they were over there. Tracers and all that would be coming. And we would just open up for a while. I guess it was the same thing happened over and over again. And in that situation, we had to put our trust in the leaders that they knew where they were going and where we were going to end up. One night I was guard. This was when we'd gone through on that breakthrough. I was guarding, and the house was on a slope, so that you entered on the first floor, and the back door was on the second floor. And I was guarding up there. It was at 12 o'clock, my shift. And dark, of course. And I saw 2 figures coming down the hill toward me. And I could tell they were Germans. You could tell by their coats, because their coats were just about down to their ankles and wide at the bottom. And I was thinking they didn't know I was there. So should I just plane up and shoot, or should I holler first? They never told us what to do in a situation like that. And I guess I did what I thought was best, because I couldn't see if they had a gun or what they were going to do. And they would probably pinpoint me by the time they walked closer. And well, then, because if I hollered, then they'd know I was there, and then I'd be done for. So I hollered, and then they'd start shooting. I don't know if I hollered halt, and I don't think they halted, so I did start shooting. I went out in the morning then, and I found their rifles, so I don't know if they were hit probably. And then in the field too, we were dug in with foxholes, and they were another 100 feet away. Oh, more than that, a couple of 300. And we could see them moving around there. So we would open fire. And there was other times too but it wasn't a never do it, and they were pleasing for us. Not like the regular doughboys or the foot soldiers. One town was a city, I guess. And again, I'm not sure of the name of it. There was a big opening field before the town, and we got up to out of the woods and to the edge, and you don't want to get caught out in the open field. So somehow we got somebody, I don't know if it's somebody came from the town out and with a white flag so we wouldn't shoot them, and said there's no soldiers here, no army, no nothing. So that was real good. We got about halfway across and they opened up on us. We backed up, called the Air Force in, and practically leveled that town, which maybe taught them a lesson or something, if they had anything left when we got through. After doing the occupation there, I had a chance to go down to Switzerland for a week's vacation. And we were on the train riding there, and one German lady was telling about something, and once she found out, well, she knew I was an American from her uniform. But she said she was from that city and told her how terribly we were that had ruined the city, and I told her what happened. So we were down in the mountains in Austria, and I think that particular day there'd been about a 5-inch snowfall. We were part way up on the side of a mountain where the road was going, and it snowed that night, so we were looking down over the valley and then another sort of mountain on the other side. All the haystacks with piles of snow on it. It was just beautiful. Then we got word that Roosevelt had died. The war was still going on then, of course. And just after that, I think it was that same day, we were traveling, and around the side of this mountain where the road was, the Germans had blown out part of it, so we couldn't cross on it. It wasn't too high, but it still was, and we were able to go down around it. There was a creek running through there. So must have been Lieutenant Oxford. No, Novicus was still our leader there then. And he was talking to some of the tanks and tank drivers. They thought they could get around there. Well, so he told me, take the Jeep and see if you can get down and go through. I looked at it, sure. I said, farm guy, that was a piece of cake. So I went down, waited up on the other side, and turned around, come back. He said, well, it's okay. And later, one of the guys told me that was talking with him then. He said, you know why he did that? He thought it was mined. So that's another reason I didn't think too much of it. Here's the cities that we fought or went through. We didn't fight at all of them, but we went through them. And this is just some of them I could remember off my top of my head. Cologne, Aachen, Remagen, Koblenz, Trier, Metz, Dachau, Stuttgart, Munich, Augsburg, Ulm, and then Berchtesgaden down in the Bavarian Alps down there. We were still traveling around there, around on that road, heading, I guess we had continued, we had gotten into Italy, but it didn't then. Then I don't remember right from then on, I don't really remember what happened. We were, I guess, getting organized, turning around, getting back to near Berchtesgaden, where we stayed then for about 4 months. Hideout up there, Eagle's Nest. When we stopped then, we went into a place where they had used it as a place for the German soldiers to train and whatnot, stay. And it was also a horse barn or horse area where they kept horses, riding horses. So we each, after a few days or weeks, we claimed a horse, and we would do all our maintenance work in the morning and then grab our horses and go for a ride way up in the mountains wherever we could. So it didn't take us long to change our routine. I didn't have any points then because I was a latecomer over there. Then in the first part of August, or maybe even in July, they start sending all those fellows home. And things weren't going just the best over in the Southern Pacific, so he said, well, we're going to ship you home for a furlough and then ship you over to Japan. So, well, going home took a little bit of the bite off of that, you know, because we've been gone then for just about a year. And so he told us to get ready, and this is about maybe the 10th of August. And the train picked us up, another one of those 40 and 8s. No, this wasn't either. This was a regular train. That was it had seats in it. And we got up just about to the middle of Belgium. Would have been another half day. We'd have been on the boat, headed for home. And then the war with Japan ended. The train stopped right there, waited a day or two right there, turned around, back down to southern Germany again for occupation till the next July. We shifted another area, but it was right down in there. I'd gotten the position of motor sergeant by that time. So we were doing our maintenance, and there's a lot of maintenance to do on the trucks and that because it was from the wartime and they didn't have lights. So we would drive up to Munich and go through a sort of a depot there where they had smashed vehicles and parts, and we'd raid those vehicles. Most of the time with permission, sometimes we didn't, and take headlights and all that kind of stuff that they didn't have on them, and bring them back, put them on, and get them good running order again. And we had 2 or 3 German mechanics who were in the war, and they were nice guys and real good, and they were smart, good mechanics, so that helped us out a lot. One of them was just a super smart guy. He'd take we didn't have radios or anything of our own, so I found this radio, but it didn't work. I said, give it to me, I'll fix it. And he came back with it then. He had light bulbs hooked in a series there, so that to take the places of tubes, I guess, whatever it required. And he had the radio working. It was the next first part of July or so before so I was there just about another year. That was a long time. I don't remember just how the orders came down, but I think they closed the whole unit that we were at there and just put us on trucks and hauled us over to the English Channel, got on a boat, and we went. We didn't stop at England then, so probably it was someplace a little south of Le Havre. It was sort of an army transport ship. We had a little better conditions than when we came over in New York there. We could see the Statue of Liberty and all that. Pretty great. That we'd made it. Yeah. Fort Sheridan is where they dismissed us. Well, it was great, really. And then again, we got on a train, or I did, I said, because I was the only one heading that way up there. And got off at Ashland, and it just had a storm around there with rain, so it washed out a lot of culverts and roads. So, and I guess my mother was home alone. They didn't know, they knew I think I was coming home so soon. So I called a taxi, and I figured, well, it's going to cost quite a bit, but it's one trip. So he took me, I had to go around about quite a few different ways to get home, because that's 25 miles. And charged me $7. Of course, then $7 was a whole lot more than now. I think she saw me walking in from the car, so she was at the door waiting. It was great. it was great. I give the people who organized this just tremendous credit for it, because it went off just like, not like the Army. We got down to Appleton, which was supposed to be there at about 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, and had some breakfast there right at the airport. Got on the airplane, and they were assigned your guardians, because there's a guardian that goes with each veteran. I had a nurse from Appleton, and she was just the greatest person. She'd been, this was her 4th trip, so she knew the way around when we got over there. So we left some of the group and just went around by herself and showed us different things, that showed me different things that probably the others didn't get to see. Especially when you see that row of stars on that wall. I don't know, 40,000 or something like that. It was many more than that that were killed over there. But that was real touching. Don't talk too much about it, but my one daughter-in-law has been after me to sit down and go over this, so maybe now this can, because she's sort of a historian, and this would be great for her.